Jim, why bulking and cutting cycles are bullshit. So I think this video is going to piss off a lot of the fitness bros out there. They're gonna be like, I'm on my bulk, bro, or I'm on my cut. And you know, that's what they say in the fitness circles on bulking and cutting. And this the usage of this is to basically to bulk to gain a lot of muscle as fast as possible, and then the cycling of the cut is to make sure your body looks lean and aesthetic, so you can basically, I mean, most of it is external validation reasons for girls or to look better than their fellow man. But if you don't care about those status games, then I don't think it should affect you. But I've talked about that many times in other videos. But I want to talk about this video about bulk and cut cycles, why they're bullshit, what I suggest you to do. And basically, you're probably asking, why would you listen to me? And basically, I'll say that I've lost a lot of weight myself. I lost 160 pounds of fat. And I went from super fat guy in high school to now where I look more normal size. And I've tried it all the fitness advice, the keto diet, I mean, I didn't really do vegan. I didn't really believe in that, but the keto diet, high carb, low carb, weight training, cardio, whatever the hell, intermittent fasting. Like, I tried every trick in the book. I tried the bulking, the cutting, and I basically tried everything. And I want to tell you what really worked for me after my own reflection of my weight loss journey and what I'm doing right now. And I want to tell you that this bulk and cut cycle stuff, I find it kind of interesting because I want to challenge the idea of the bulk and the cut, where when you bulk, the goal is to build a bunch of muscle as fast as possible. And it's basically, you're going to force feed your body to eat extra calories to make you basically gain a shit ton of muscle. But most times people like to do dirty bulks and they gain a lot of fat with it. And we know in the world right now, if you eat dirty bulk style, so you're gonna eat a lot of processed foods like McDonald's or ice cream or burger, bread, sweets, dessert shakes, you're gonna eat a lot of this stuff. And yes, it gives you a lot of energy for the gym, so you're able to pump more numbers and destroy your muscles more. And then afterwards you eat a lot of protein to recover it. That's what the idea of bulking is. But you get a lot of fat with it. And you know, my friends, they clown me for this, like, oh, my gut microbiome. It's like, I was saying to them, like, yeah, if you do a lot of the eating the processed food, it's gonna fuck up your gut microbiome, which is like in your gut, like your stomach, how you digest food. There's like good gut bacteria and bad bacteria. That's what like science says. But basically, it spirals both ways, where the more good bacteria you have, the more you crave like good food, like unprocessed food, and the more bad bacteria you have, the more you crave like processed food. This is like the bro science theory of it. I will say for me, it is actually true, because I used to crave processed food all the time. That's why I was so fat, and I wouldn't want to eat unprocessed food. But now, like, I don't really crave processed food as much. Like, sometimes I'll have a craving like from back then, be like, oh, that sounds so nice. But usually I just like flick it away. But more times than not, I crave unprocessed foods more, because my gut microbiome is so optimized. Like, I don't really have, like, a good way for you to tell if you have a good microbiome is if you take a shit and you either have a really solid one, and when you smell your fecal matter from like from the aroma that wafts up from the toilet bowl, it smells fermented. When you smell like a fermentation, that's a good sign. And for me, it's always like that. But if it smells like very rancid or very odorous or very abhorrent in odor, like, I'm pretty sure you can tell, like, you understand what I mean, you probably have this bad gut microbiome. So you taking a shit is probably your best indicator for you to know if you have a good or bad microbiome. And basically, there's spirals that go both ways. If you want more bad microbiome, then you eat more processed food. If you want more good microbiome, then you eat more unprocessed food. That's the basic science of it. But basically, bulking is that you will have a bad microbiome, and basically it's a spiral that's very hard to escape from, honestly, when you're so used to eating processed food. But then when you want to cut, so after you do all this bulking, you're like, okay, now I've gained enough muscle, I've gotten super fat, and I'm very unpleased with how I look with myself, I'm going to start cutting. Like, yeah, it's sounds so easy, like, oh, well, I finished my bulk, now it's time to go on a cut. But a lot of people, when they do the dirty bulk, they gain so much muscle at a time. And I think like somehow it's even a characteristic in markets. For example, when an asset rises too much, it's going to have a very sharp fall. And that's how it's like even for like gliders. When people do crash diets, they lose a bunch of weight and then they rebound a bunch of weight. For muscle building, it's kind of like that as well, but as long as you eat enough protein and do the gym, then it'll be okay. But it's still like hard, because if you do from bulk to cut, a lot of people, they go from eating 4,000 calories a day to like suddenly 2,000 calories a day. And when you make that drastic shift, your body wants to basically, yeah, you'll burn fat, but it also wants to burn muscle. And when you cut, you want to retain as much of that muscle as possible. So you're kind of just fighting gravity. It's really fucking hard to go on a cut compared to a bulk. And it's for that reason where you're trying to conserve all this energy, but then you're also trying to retain all this muscle, which you gained from eating a bunch of energy from before. So it's a very vicious cycle. Some people are able to do it. I think a lot of people get really stuck up in the dirty bulk mindset though, and they forever bulk and they never really cut because it's such a large resistance, like, oh, I'm going to lose my gains and whatnot. And I want to tell you a more balanced approach from my own perspective on this cut versus bulk. Like, I'm not saying you shouldn't do it, but from my own perspective, I don't think it's that great. And for me, when I lost all my weight, yes, I was technically cutting the entire time. So the bro science is that you will burn more calories than you consume. But the thing is like, for you to actually ontologically measure how much you eat versus how much you burn is pretty much damn near impossible, because there's always variance in the measurements for caloric intake and output. So I will look at this, and what you can do is to change the process of how you eat and how you move, because that's basically all you have to do. So a very easy and simple way to do this is that you will, after you eat, you take like a 15-20 minute walk. And when you eat, you should reduce processed food and eat more unprocessed food as possible. And when you just change your approach to this with exercise and diet, it's really fucking simple. You will burn fat like it's fucking nothing. And me personally, when I went on my whole weight loss cut diet for the last 10 years or so, I never really had a starvation period where I was eating 1,000 calories a day. Actually, most of my caloric intake was like most days I was actually pretty full when I went to bed, or I was a little bit hungry when I went to bed. So it was never like that bad. But what I changed drastically is that I went from a very processed food heavy diet into an unprocessed food heavy diet, and pretty much my satiety signals changed forever. And I will argue that if you want to keep the weight off, like fat wise, and also to increase muscle, because there's also some sort of a psyop that if you're on a maintenance diet, then you will never be able to gain muscle, or you'll never be able to burn fat. It is actually untrue. The thing is that you will still burn fat and gain muscle, but they're at very small curves relative to bulking and cutting. But I would argue that just like anything in life, the long-term approach is always better than the short-term approach. Like, it's kind of like in markets where you want to chase the meme coin hype, and it pumps to, I don't know, like your $1 and the meme coin goes to 1 to 1,000 in a day. You're like, oh my God, that's amazing. But then the next day it went from 1,000 to like $10. You're like, what the fuck? Like, it's kind of like that. Or a lot of people, they do the crash diets because people are really dopamine centric. They want the feeling more than the actual result. So the thing is that even in weight loss and fat loss, you take this balanced approach where I would argue that you do the small little compounding increments every day. So this idea that you have to lose 1 pound of fat a week or something, a complete round number psyop, it doesn't have to be 1 pound a week. What I would argue is that you could even have like 0.1 pound per week or whatever the hell. But the thing is, you change your process and reflect on that. Like me personally, I am more on the side of just maintenance. And yes, my weight has been stagnating around 215 to now. I'm currently around 203 pounds, 200 pounds. And yes, I've been stagnating around there for the last year or two. But the thing is that I would say this is actually my most optimal path, because if I just did a complete down only trajectory from 340 170, where would I be today? I feel like I wouldn't be as healthy, and my body actually needs that long, lengthy consolidation period in weight. And what you want actually is that you have these long consolidation periods, but then there's a large markdown in your weight. Maybe it's like 5 to 10 pounds. and that happens like a few weeks or so because your body has to adapt to each weight baseline. And then now you're at this new stage where you're like, oh shit, now I am ready to go on to the next level to this new body fat level. And that's what I'm currently doing right now. So I'll stay at like 200 pounds for like a couple more months or so, and then I'll basically mark down another 5-10 pounds, and then now I'm boom. Like, that's what I argue for weight loss as well. I don't think it's ever like a steady down curve like that. A lot of things in life, even how much you make money in, this doesn't like change by increments by like, oh well, this week I'm making $1,000 a month. Okay, next week I'm now making 1,020. Okay, next week now I'm making 1,040. Like, it's never like that. It's usually like you get a raise after a couple months of hard work, and now instead for like 1,000 a month, you're making like 2,000 a month. But this happened after 6 months. But if you average that curve, then yeah, you got like little increments every week. But the actual causation of it happened in one large spurt. And that's what I'm arguing is more effective in weight loss as well. And it's the healthiest approach, not to have this rapid bulk and cut cycles where it's just like this weird fucked up chart and your body just feels like shit. Like, I want to say that your body, the hunger signals, the ghrelin, this is all there for a reason. And your body overall wants homeostasis. But this homeostasis eventually centers around back to looking like a normal human being. And the thing is that if you want to be a normal human being, you have to do what normal human beings used to do. So a lot of exercise, like not a lot every day, just a little bit every day, and then eating a non-processed food diet. It's very, very simple in my opinion. You don't have to do all this fucking crazy crash diets, whatever the hell. The thing is that you have to stick to it for years. You don't just try to lose all the weight in a month, 3 months. Even a year is too little of a time. If you're like super fat like I used to be, this doesn't happen. Like, a lot of people in my own YouTube comment shorts or on TikTok, they're like, oh bro, you've been doing this for like 3 years now, why don't you just quit or whatever the hell. Like, some people, they look at the past, be like, they look at how much progress I've made, but like some people are like, oh, you haven't even looked that much different from last week. But like, a lot of people, they're expecting me to lose a little bit of fat every single day, but it's not like that. It's usually long, lengthy consolidations and a markdown. This is what even my own weight loss graph reflects. And that's what I realized lately when I'm approaching my more normal weight, as I'm doing more of this. And a lot of this is compounding that takes years and years to do. But that's pretty much all I'm saying in this video. Why bulk and cut cycles are bullshit, and what I would suggest you to do for pretty much anyone. And it's a very common life lesson for literally everything in life if you want to get any sort of good result, where you have to stick at one thing and stick to that process and iteratively improve it for years at a time. Like, not months, not weeks, not even 1 to 2 years, literally years, like 5 to 10 years. And then after that, your body is going to be so drastically changed and compounded that it's hard for you to come back to where you used to be, because now for you to get there, you have to reverse 5 to 10 years of compounding. And it goes both ways. So yeah, that's pretty much all I'm saying in this video. Why bulk and cut cycles are bullshit. And yeah, I'll see you guys.